Today, I'm sitting down with Ninette Abe Atala. Ninette is a psychologist, life coach, and we have this in common, a book enthusiast. She lives in Mount Lebanon, where she's spreading the life-changing potential of books with her campaign. Welcome, Ninette, and thanks for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Sabine. I'm very happy to be speaking with you about books.
So, Ninette, tell me, how did you become a leader?
I'm a leader.
You are. We can get back to that question if you like.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, okay. So tell me, Ninette, how did you become a leader?
Well, I always thought that the word leader meant like a person who stand up in front of a mass and shout out and use that finger and talk with superiority. I thought that I had that image in my mind. And then I started doing more researches about what a leader is through books, especially. And I found out it's not. A leader is a person who likes to serve people, who is from the people, who is very down to earth, who is a very good communicator, and who has a message and things he wants to deliver and help the community. So I didn't meant to be a leader, but it happened because maybe it happened. I didn't mean to become a leader.
But you are today. So you've become a leader in this area of books, especially sort of focusing about mental health. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about your campaign?
My campaign had so many motivations. I was motivated first by the conditions in our country. So among everyone, I saw that my country is very beautiful. The people have so much potentials and we can change. And from my major and my studies in psychology, I know that change on a personal level takes time. It doesn't just happen like by a second. And that's the thing that people doesn't know. So, and to do a change, you can take many roads. And I was thinking what was the most efficient change I want. And if people can see the last post I had on Instagram, it was about change. It was inspired by a book, Atomic Habits. And it spoke about the 3 layers of change. There's the identity, the process, and the outcome. People here mainly focus on the outcome, and that's not really good and not very efficient, because if you are only focused on the outcome, you won't really do the change. We need to change the identity. And we are the country of Gibran Khalil Gibran, whose book spread the word. And he wrote a very beautiful book, The Prophet. And the writings were awesome. So I was asking myself, what happened now? Why, when I'm thinking about a Lebanese writer, I can't find a name? What happened? So that was my question. And then I looked at the situation in my country. I'm seeing people leaving. People are not proud of being Lebanese, and that hurts me a lot. And they are seeking like other countries and trying to belong to other countries. We no longer belong to our country. Yeah, and that was not good also. So I found that if I want to make a change, I need to help people start changing their mind, their thoughts, to improve on a personal level, and then create that circle of power and belonging through reading. So that was the first motivation. The second one was very personal. I have 2 majors. My first major was in audiovisual arts. So, and when I graduated, I didn't know what to work. I didn't know how can I start my career. I didn't have any vision. I was very scared and worried and everything. And that built up until I got I had, I guess, an anxiety attack, and I was hospitalized. And back then, I didn't know anything about anxiety and anxiety attacks or anything. And I got out of the hospital, and there was a book in front of me. I decided to start reading again because for a very long time I didn't read because it's not trendy, it's not cool, and it's not a culture in our country. So I started reading and reading and reading, and the book was about anxiety, and the title was How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And it was like, I was amazed. It was like a treasure. I was reading real stories about real people who was grateful about little things. Like I remember one story, it was about a woman who couldn't see, and then she had an eye surgery, and for the first time while washing the dishes, she could see the soap, the colors of the soap, and she was very touched by that. So I liked that book, and I wanted to change. I want to feel better, to be less anxious. So I started applying a bit of what I was reading, and then I decided to study another major. So I studied psychology, and there I found myself because my problem with the first major was that I want to help people, I want to spread messages, I want to be in contact with a human, not behind just a screen, like doing technical stuff. Mm-hmm. So I loved psychology, and that was my second motivation. I wanted people to experience what I did experience when I read. So reading has so many benefits. It helps with depression, anxiety. It helps us to grow, to develop, even especially if you are reading like self-help books or psychology books. And even if you're not reading those kind of books, if you're reading a novel or whatever, it also helps because it helps you to develop your ability to like stand in someone else's shoes, to widen your perspective, and to develop your emotional intelligence. And it helps you in giving you more words, more your imagination will be bigger. So it has so many benefits. And one more thing, there's that idea of people who read are like boring or nerds, but I think it's sexier to see someone who reads because he will become smarter, and it's nice.
It is nice. I mean, give me a hot man reading a book any day over someone pumping iron.
Exactly.
I really love what you were saying, and especially about reading books. I always think about that. I think it's George R.R. Martin. He had a quote about people who read books live 1,000 lives within their lifetime. Yeah. And I think this is really kind of the idea of what you're getting at about building empathy. And, even when you're reading fiction, I love reading books where I can just connect with the characters and you don't feel as alone in your thoughts and your ideas. And so I really get how reading can help mental health.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So from your very thank you for sharing your very personal experience with it, especially around your anxiety and things. But of course, anxiety is something a lot of us suffer from these days. And so what made you decide to sort of go out beyond yourself and share sort of this experience, this transformation that you had, as you sort of said from Atomic Habits, this process that you went through? What made you want to share that experience and get more people on board or build a community around that experience?
It's my love for my country. And I don't want to feel helpless. I want to change. I want to do something, even if it is a small thing like encouraging people and motivating them to read, because I think that's like a big treasure that they are hiding from the people. Because I like to recite a phrase. It's from the Bible, I guess. At the beginning was the Word, and the Word was from God, and the Word was God. So in words, there's so many power. In books, there's so many power. And people need to get access to this power and acknowledge how much they can do, how much they are powerful, and how much they are, there's hope, there's everything. They can change. Lebanon can be great again. It's a beautiful country and the people are amazing. And the big proof is what happened after the Beirut blast. People went down and helped each other. We have this power and this love and this I don't know. So I just want people to remember that again and become better and stop living in denial and distracting themselves with bad things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered the question.
No, I mean, I think what you're getting at really is letting people tap back into their passion for their country and, creating this very grassroots movement of change by empowering people through the power of books and what we're reading and what you can. I mean, Atomic Habits is such a powerful book. And the other books that you're all sort of focusing on is really about self-help. And I really love this idea about, you have to be the change yourself before, and then translating that into changing a country for the improvement of the culture, especially a country like Lebanon, because I know it's not an easy time. So I really love that you are giving people their power back in a situation where it's easy for them to feel helpless, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about Lebanon, like I told you, Gibran Khalil Gibran, Saad Aqel, Mikhail Naimi, we were known about our culture, especially with writers and thinkers. So now we're not only hummus and tabbouleh and people who like to celebrate and party all the time. Yeah, we like to do that, but we're not only
Who
that.
doesn't?
And not all the brains are out of their country. There are still people who choose to stay here because we can't build for the future. They can't make us think that we're done and we can't do anything. No, we can. And we will.
Yeah. I love the attitude. I love the spirit and things like that you're bringing to it. So what do people say? I mean, you've built this small community. I've seen what you've been able to do with your campaign. What do people say when you tell them about this project, about your campaign to get people to read books?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know that the effect will be that quick. From my small circle, I know people are starting to read. People are starting to discuss reading more. They are asking me for books. I am invited to join book clubs. Bookstores are reaching for me. They are telling me that I'm giving them hope. I'm becoming a role model. But I told you I didn't meant to do that. I wasn't just spreading my passion. And there are writers in Lebanon, and there's good ones. But the thing is, the media is not highlighting them. They are not very supported. And
So I think you're creating a platform for them. Would be nice.
Yeah. And I got to join a group of people who are passionate about reading. And I was very happy about it. They are Lebanese. And when they speak about books, they use some specific words that are very beautiful. Like they say, reading is holy. And to read, you need to have a specific environment, a specific routine, and they love it. The one thing we all agree about, and it's not that I agree with, it's that it's right. I heard one girl, she was saying that I read English books that are translated because the Arabic books are not good. And that stopped me, and I started a discussion with them, and then I took it to social media to discuss this thought. I mean, really? Who said that? Arabic
I guess everyone's entitled to their opinion, right?
Yeah. But no, that's like, there's a conviction about it. And even if it's true, then why?
Yeah.
And we are supposed to improve, not to go down, you know?
Yeah.
We should improve.
Yeah. So what is it, I mean, have you told your parents about your campaign? Like, what do your parents say about it, or your friends, or your closest circle? How do they think of this?
They love it.
I think maybe, I mean, what's nice too with your closest people, maybe they love that you love it and they see how happy it makes you.
Yeah, maybe. Some of them support me because, yeah, as you said, I'm passionate about it and they like how I'm spreading my passion. And others, oh, okay, I have one story about my friend. She's Lebanese, but she's living abroad.
Yes.
And her name is Stephanie Kurkilian. So she doesn't...
Oh, we're calling her out, are we?
Her
Tell
name
me,
is
what does Stephanie do?
Yeah. She doesn't like to read at all.
Okay.
So she is following me on Instagram and she sees all those posts about books and books and books. So when she got there, she shoot the library at her room. She told me, "Hey, books reminds me of you," and stuff. And then now she is spending most of her time in the library reading and researching, and I actually motivated her and she thanked me for doing that. I really loved that happened because she really wasn't into books, but now she is.
Yeah.
And
it
also...
just takes one good book, right?
Yeah, exactly. It takes one book.
One good book.
We talked about that one time in our lives, in the live I do on Instagram. And that's what happened with me. When I was younger, I took one of Gibran's book and I opened the first page to prove to my aunt that its reading is boring. But then,
you got learned.
At the end of the day, I was still couldn't stop reading, and I proved myself wrong.
I can only imagine the glee or the joy that your aunt had when she saw that you were still reading after a couple hours.
Yeah,
yeah, that's amazing. Have you had any sort of criticism with your project as well? Have there been people who think reading isn't worth it? Or, have you had any people sort of say like, why are you spending your time on this?
So far, no, but I'm prepared to that. Actually, that girl I was talking about, she was one
Stephanie.
of... Yeah, Stephanie. She was... when I started preparing for the campaign, I asked people who likes to read, and then I had the answer like 80% said they like to read, but like 10% actually does. So there's the action part that was missing. Then I asked them, why don't you like to read? Some said that my eyes hurt, and some said it's boring. Yeah. Okay. So I took the answers, and then I come up with an argument for that. I mean, if, like you said, it's not about reading, it's about what you are reading. So if you like novels, and if you like novels, you should read novels. If you like self-help book, you should read self-help book. If you like comics, you read comics. And it's not, and they can try. They can apply the 1% rule. Start with one page. It's a trick. But start with one page and see what will happen. It's easy to read one page or one paragraph. But choose something that you like, that you are interested in, and we can see what happens. So
just like little Ninette did that one time when her aunt told her about when she tried to prove her aunt wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had talked a little bit just now. You said you did a survey and everything like that. How did you start with your campaign? I mean, you did this through a program that Elda put on, and we're here with the Elda podcast. Tell us a little bit about how Elda helped you on your way to leadership.
Yeah, I love Elda. And
Elda loves you too.
And I love the coaches at Elda. So honestly, it helped me with the campaign, and it helped me on a personal level. So I've always been multi-talented. I have more than one interest. I'm interested in photography and filming and communicating and psychology and coaching and art.
And on and on and
Yeah.
on and on. Yeah, that's great.
I never knew how to merge those everything. And one
Yeah.
time when we were doing a session online, we went into breakout rooms, and I don't know if it was with you, but they asked us to just talk about something we love.
Yeah.
And I started talking about books and writing.
Yeah.
First, I didn't, when I was thinking about what I'm going to choose, I didn't have that idea on my mind. I thought that I will choose a campaign about mental health, but
Yeah.
I didn't, even though I discuss it a lot with my colleagues, other campaigns, there's a lot about mental health, but I chose reading. So Elda helped me to gather everything I love in one thing, and it helped me with a lot of techniques to use for design, how to elaborate my campaign. And honestly, what I did is just follow all the steps like in detail and answer to all the questions, and that made me succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Is there a moment from the social campaigning school that has really sort of resonated with you, or that kind of sticks out from your mind, or any of the experiences that meant a lot to you in particular?
When I got the feedback about the campaign,
Yeah.
and it was in the email when Lena replied. She told me your story impacted me very much. I was very happy because I was very vulnerable in my story. I shared it, and it was really nice that people are appreciating what I'm sharing and helping me very much. And there's a lot of altruism in here. Like, coaches are very friendly and they give without asking. They are also leaders. They are not asking anything in return. I mean, not without asking. They ask a lot of questions to clarify things.
That's part of the process. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, your vulnerability and your openness is like also really come through also in your campaign. And even in our conversation today, when you were talking about how much you love Lebanon and like the future for you and the country, I might have felt some feelings like in my face or something. So yeah, your passion is so contagious. And I think really plays into how you've become a leader, is really about using your passion and finding that people who you can infect with that passion. Because that's, if I had to talk about you, if I was just going to say, Ninette, I was going to say Ninette is infectious with her passion and her leadership. So thank you. I have one more question. What are you looking forward to in the future as a leader?
With my campaign, I'm looking forward to start a book club, that is very specific or specialized in self-help book and psychology book. And it's not a regular book club. It's about empowering people, motivating people, sharing expertise, growing together, creating that power. That for the campaign. On the bigger vision is, I want to see that change. It won't happen overnight, but it started already. And I hope that I'm serving my country and contributing in the change, and having that beautiful Lebanon we were raised and we dreamed about again. I always, one more thing.
Yeah.
There's a phrase for Gibran. He says, I will say it in Arabic and I will try to translate it. لو لم يكن لبنان وطني لاخترت لبنان وطنا لي. If Lebanon wasn't my country, I would choose it to be. And I ask people to imagine or have that vision of the Lebanon they are proud to belong to. So my vision, the country I'm already proud with my country, but
Yeah.
the country I'm proud and I love to see is a country in which people reads, discuss ideas, party, yes, but they are in touch with their deep sense, and they speak that truth, honest people. Yeah, that's what I hope to see, and I will see it.
I believe you. And I believe with young people like you starting campaigns in Lebanon, I think Lebanon will be a very different country, hopefully very, very soon. So thank you so much, Ninette, for this beautiful conversation and sharing your passion with me today and being part of the ELDA group and the Social Campaign School. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot. I want also to thank ELDA. They are amazing. I love them all, and I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of my colleagues, the Lebanese one, with their other campaigns, and hope we can all collaborate to the change and the Lebanon we all dream of.
I look forward to seeing that. Thank you so much, Ninette. This was great. I was not like being dramatic when I was like, you talk about Lebanon, I love it. I'm like, oh God.
I couldn't see you very well because of that.